Today's guest is Liz Dederer. She's the founder and CEO of Selling with Service. She's helped people increase sales from $300,000 to $1.2 million in 6 months. She's increased close rates from 0, man, that's low, to 80% in 30 days. Ended the year 50% over plan, tripled top-line sales in under 3 years, and she runs Sales School for Entrepreneurs, which is saleschoolforentrepreneurs.com. Thanks for being here, Liz.
Of course, thanks for having me. And listen, 0 is low, but it's where we all start.
That's true. Yeah,
that's the jumping off point.
Yeah, that's true. There is no avoiding that.
We weren't born with clients.
Right, that's true. So give people a little bit of background about yourself. How did you get into this? I know the story, but tell people.
Yeah, so necessity is the mother of all invention, right? So I've kind of been an entrepreneur since I was 18. That's like the formal story. I started my first business when I was 18, cleaning out closets, selling clothes on eBay, back when you had to like HTML the pages, right?
Old school days.
I know. So I'm sitting there with HTML for dummies in a Gucci bag, and I'm like, how do we do this? And, that got to where it got, but never enough. And I was, a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. So, continue with my career, grew up in fashion, VP of sales and marketing, executive search, did the whole thing. And then going on within the past decade, about 8 years ago now, found out I was pregnant and just kind of realized I don't want to do this for somebody else anymore.
Right.
So this opportunity had been presented to me like a franchise type opportunity for web design. Okay. And because I had the HTML kind of stuff, I was like, I could do that. And at the time, if we remember 8-10 years ago, in marketing and web design, small business owners were really tied to their web designer. Technology is just not where it is today. So I was presented with this opportunity to really help business owners have a strong online presence in a way that they would be able to control, kind of have the keys to their own store. Right? So started working with this company, becoming a single mom along the way. And, that got me out of corporate by the time my daughter was 7 months old, which is great. And I'm going to have lunch with this woman one day, and she's, this is the third or fourth time we had gotten together to have lunch. And I'm sitting in my accountant's office before I go out to have lunch with her, and I'm like, yeah, she doesn't need a website. I can't sell her one in integrity. She has one, it's fine. But she keeps wanting to get together and have lunch with me and, whatever. I was kind of frustrated because sales weren't coming in. And my accountant was like, Liz, that's called coaching or consulting. You could get paid for that. And I was like, shut up. I could get paid for talking? I was like, this is the best day ever. I'm a slow learner. So I wish it was and in that magical moment, I turned around. It didn't work like that. It took a while to kind of, bridge the gap. But over time, I would say it was probably a 3-year journey that I started to kind of shift from my marketing agency that I had into business lifestyle coaching, LizDederer.com era, gotcha. Where my headshot was a selfie.
Okay, nice.
That I edited in PowerPoint.
Nice.
No wonder the websites didn't really take off. Just saying though. And then that's when the sales stuff started to kind of come up, because now I'm outselling me and my conversation skills, right? But I'll talk to a wall, right? It doesn't matter. So what started to happen is my sales dried up. I didn't have that website. I didn't have that product with a hard number behind it to be able to sell.
Right.
So I actually went to a sales consulting company, a friend of mine who's, has this huge company, and she put me through this massive assessment that I don't use because it was really, really painful. But at the end, it came back that I have 100% perfect score in closing. And she's like, we've never seen anything like this before. And I was like, well, you got to help me understand this, because that's not what my bank account says right now, right? It's nice that I can close people, but I've got a nice quiet client book. So basically what she said to me is, write down whatever you're doing. Whatever you're doing is gold.
Right, it's working. Something's working.
Exactly. Right. Then she tried to close me on something, and I heard all the flaws in the sales pitch, and I was like, can't close a closer.
Come on, right. Fisherman can always see another fisherman.
Exactly. I love that. So I started writing down what I was doing, and, women, we need validation. I think all of us require a little atta-girl, atta-boy from time to time, and someone had just validated that I was good at this conversation thing. So I'm out networking, talking to people, could get people on the phone, and I was like, if I could just get them to tell me enough about their business, I know I can help them. And now they told me I'm a good closer, and I started closing clients. And then with the clients that I
funny
had,
how that happens.
It's crazy, right? You just need someone to be like, no, you're good.
Just a little, just a little push.
You got this. You got this. It's okay. And I go out there and I start closing clients, and then remembering what she had said, like, write down what you're doing. All of a sudden, like, this process is kind of evolving. And my poor unsuspecting clients, I was like, you've got a sales call coming up, try this on. And that's when the results started to come in, and they were like, their clients were thanking them as they're getting credit cards over the phone. Like, they're onboarding clients, and the clients that they're just onboarding says, well, what happens at the time of when our work is done together?
Right.
And they haven't even started working
I want
together.
more already. We haven't even started.
Exactly. The quality of the conversation was that strong. So that's the long story of like how I got into this, very organically, very accidentally, and Selling with Service was actually named by my clients.
Okay. Right.
I had a 2-day seminar called Speak Your Value, Own Your Worth, sold out training. And then I go look on social afterwards, and all the clients are saying that they're at the Selling with Service seminar. And I was like,
all right.
I guess you are.
Yes.
That's how that happens.
Right.
Yeah, but it's because I was having conversations. I was out there in motion. I was talking to people. I was engaging, and I was listening, that I was able to kind of receive all this. If I had just been sitting there at my desk, like in a bubble, figuring things out,
right,
wouldn't be here today. So
yeah, that's right. That's something that is that I think about a lot. It's very easy as a entrepreneur and self-starter and all that to just be in your head all the time.
For sure.
But that's why I joined this place. That's why I started this podcast.
Yep.
Right? Is to start just mixing it up, getting to know other people around here.
Clarity
Not necessarily
comes through
to
action.
try to do work for everybody.
Right.
But just getting to know the people around here.
Yep.
You know?
Clarity comes through action. Confusion
Right, yeah.
comes through thought.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So how do you define sales? Because a lot of people, I feel like, as a marketing person, people think that marketing is sales, and they are the same coin, but it's two sides of the same coin.
I know, and marketing and sales kind of have a love-hate relationship
Yeah.
depending upon the world and
Right.
the industry,
Right.
and they really have such a beautiful relationship because just like sales and money, marketing, you can't have one without the other.
Right.
They can't exist, without. So I kind of undefine sales.
Okay.
I think that sales is such a bad word. It's such a dirty word that people, did you grow up saying I want to be a salesman?
No.
I didn't grow up saying that I want to be a salesperson. I didn't grow up saying that I want to be the CEO of a sales training company.
Right.
Like, what is that? But so we have this like innate connotation with sales that it's so bad and icky and ugly and just like used car salesman and comb over and all of that kind of stuff. So we stay away from it. But then at the end of the day, especially when you start a business for yourself,
Yeah.
you're the salesperson.
Right.
Sorry. I'm sorry to say it, but you are. So we just kind of address that and acknowledge it, that sales doesn't mean that you're a 1980s used car salesman, right? That's not, it doesn't have to be this brash, abrasive kind of tactics or anything. The way that that's kind of undefining it, right? It doesn't have to be that. So then redefining it, I love me some acronyms. A sale is supporting abundance literally everywhere. It's an energetic thing. It's an exchange. And when you step into an exchange with somebody and you adopt the mentality, belief, and stance that they're already a client early and often, that point of conversion that we get so weird about, that
Right.
sale,
Done already.
it's already done.
Right.
Energetically, they're already a client.
Right.
And you're supporting abundance literally everywhere by stepping up into that energy and saying, you're already a client. We just have to figure out at what point are we going to have a formal play date.
Right.
That's it.
It's interesting to hear you say that. Do you know Jay Abraham? Do you know who that is? Yeah, the preeminence, the philosophy of preeminence, right? That once this person becomes a client, it's your duty to advise them,
Yeah.
to get the most for them, however possible you can do that. Like
Yep.
for life.
Yeah.
For life.
Yes.
And I like this even more because
Yay.
it starts ahead of that.
It does.
Before they're a client. Everyone just helping, that's something that I think is very, especially because I'm from Texas.
Okay.
Well, I'm originally from Oklahoma, but I just moved here from Texas. So one of the things that I notice around here specifically, maybe it's not here, maybe I just am more aware of it.
It's probably
There's
here.
sort of a scarcity mindset,
For sure.
and that's a sucking thing. It's like a downward
It is.
doom loop, and that's something that I notice, and it's disheartening to me that is sort of the temperature around here.
Yeah.
No one is looking ahead. They're sort of just stuck where they are.
Think about the physical landscapes of the two areas that you came from, Oklahoma and Texas. We could fit
true.
like 55 Connecticut's into either one of those, right? So just there's a natural expansiveness of everything.
Right.
Right? And then you get into Connecticut and it's just this teeny tiny myopic, everyone's
Right.
on top of each other. And then the more that we as entrepreneurs network around like-minded individuals, our world actually becomes smaller.
Right.
And we think that the internet and it's a bigger view of the same. As opposed to really looking at differences, and that lack and scarcity, sales and service are the two different, they're different.
Right.
Sales is operating from that lack mentality and space. When you're in sales energy,
Gotta close them.
and you're thinking about yourself.
Right.
You gotta close them because you need to get the sale.
Right. I gotta get.
Yeah, I gotta make my numbers. I gotta eat today. I don't have a client. We're operating from scarcity. You can have the best relationship with somebody and you get to know them and it's fabulous and wonderful and you're helping and everything else. And then you go into that weird
Right.
robot sales energy
Right.
of like, so do you want to hear more about that thing? And you're like, no, I don't actually. Like, no, and don't ever call me again. And it's just like weird and awful. But when you step into service energy and you adopt the mindset early and often that they're already a client, then it's just like, what do you need today?
Right.
What's up? How can I help you?
Right.
And you're serving and supporting them. And what comes from that are, conversations like this and opportunities to be over here and introductions to this pond and perhaps a client because they're like, actually, you can help me by like helping me.
Right.
Right? But that's unattached. That's abundance. There's 7 billion people in the world. And we're still procreating.
Right.
Like, there's enough of us to go around.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's enough clients out there.
There's enough.
Yeah.
And the math of it is, because that's energetic and that's great and fabulous and wonderful. Here's the math of it. I believe that the entrepreneurial minimum wage is $120,000 a year in revenue. And that's enough to pay yourself a nice salary to live on. Not a fabulous one, but this entrepreneurial minimum wage, 120. So salary, support, taxes, savings, profit, right? You can make that work at 120. And then obviously you go up from there. Let's break down the math on that. If a service-based coach, consultant, etc., is working with a client at a 90-day clip, 6 months, whatever, $5,000 is kind of an average rate, right? Depending upon skill set, experience, a lot of other things come to the table, and just willingness to say the number. That's like 90% of it.
Right.
At $5,000, that's 24 clients a year.
Right.
Break that down, that's 2 clients a month that you're onboarding. And then if you're doing it in a 90-day clip that you're working with somebody, you're never working with more than 6 people at a time.
Right.
That's a beautiful boutique business.
Yeah, that's doable. When
Yeah.
you break it down like that, that's doable. That's something also that I see people do a lot is they want 100 clients or 1,000 or what's success look like to you? I don't know.
Right.
No definition.
No.
Specifically, no process.
Yeah.
As far as breaking it down into these are in like we talked about on the phone when
Yep.
I invited you to come
Yep.
do this. One thing that you said that really jumped out to me is the problem often that people have is they're just not talking to enough people.
Yes. Without a shadow of a doubt, that's the root of everything. Just not having enough conversations.
Right.
Because they think a conversation has to be a sales conversation.
Right.
Hey, you want to buy my thing? No.
Right. Yeah. And the reality of it is most of the conversations you have, those people are not going to become clients.
Correct.
So that's why you need a large number to start with, and you're just going to whittle them down as you go.
Yeah.
But trying to land every last one, that's
Snooze.
yeah. I mean, it's just you're making it harder on yourself than it needs to. be.
Exactly.
Right, like you said, you just need to talk to more people.
Right.
And as you expand that, it gets easier and easier.
And let's
To do
expand
that,
the
to
math.
find the people that want what you have. that
Yes.
You can actually help. You're not trying to convince anyone to do anything. You're just finding the people that already have identified that or after a conversation with you, they're like, oh yeah, I do need some help doing that.
Yes. Yes. Or a quality referral of like,
Right.
the girlfriend conversation, and then you're like, you know what, you need to talk to
Right.
so-and-so, right? I mean, like all of that kind of stuff. But let's expand the math on that for a minute with the number of conversations that you need to have. You don't have to be on the phone 24/7 with everybody and their mother,
Right.
right? So if it's 24 clients a year, and let's say you need to have 10 good conversations to get to that point, not sales conversations, good conversations to get to that point. You're looking at 240 conversations a year.
Right.
If you're working 50 weeks a year, let's pretend that we take vacations and take 2 of them a year, right? Let's pretend, or 1 2-week vacation. 5 days a week, that's 250 working days. And we all know that we're on 24/7, but let's just pretend it's 250 working days a year, and you need to have 240 good conversations to get 24 clients. Like, dude, that's easy math.
Right. Suddenly becomes doable and pretty clear.
Yes.
The path to get to where you want to go.
When you get into the service energy, not the sales, sticky, icky, let me talk about myself mentality.
Right. That's a key also. I think that people make the mistake from a marketing standpoint on people's websites. I see I was going to commend you also on the copy on your websites.
Okay. Thank you.
It's very client centric, and it read really easily, and I was like, yeah, this is good sales copy on this website. That's something that I see a lot. People talk about how much experience they have and how awesome they are, and here's the clients that I've worked with. That's important at a certain point, right? The social proof of that stuff. But if that's all that you have on your site, where's the information about what I get out of it?
Right.
And oftentimes people just completely gloss over that. I don't necessarily know that they're glossing over it. It's just they don't think of it. It's sort of a counterintuitive thing, right? The idea of helping people and figuring out it's like the Zig Ziglar thing, right? If you help enough people get what they want, you'll get everything that you want.
Yeah, for sure.
And oftentimes, especially when we're starting out and you don't have any sales, you're like, I gotta get some sales. But yeah, as soon as you turn outwards and figure out how to help people get what they want, it turns around really fast.
It does. It like skyrockets. Yeah, phenomenally. And I would say the hinge of why people don't, why they're in that marketing trap and they're talking about themselves and their experience and why they're having sales conversations like the classic and they don't have enough clients or they're getting the wrong ones or whatever, is because they're afraid to niche or however you want to say it. They're afraid to go really focus and say, I actually help. Like, I help women in business, boutique business owners who are service providers who want to work closely with their clients.
Right.
And it does happen to be, I have some lawyers, some accountants, coaches, consultants, health practitioners. So the industry runs the gamut, but like, I know my person.
Right.
Her name is Sam.
Right.
Kind of like Samantha Jones from Sex and the City is like a little bit. But yeah, my people, they want to work with their clients. So I'm very clear on that. So someone wants me to come in to train their, whatever, I have to look to see, is my person in that room?
Right.
And if they're not, that I could go in and serve them, but that's going to be a one and done.
Right.
And I don't want transactional.
Right.
I can still help and I can still show up, but I'm not going to go now recreate my business for this pond.
Right.
So that's when it comes to the web copy and the marketing positioning and all of that kind of stuff, it's just tactic grabbing. Well, I saw Sally did this and they're doing this and I heard the SEO word and I heard Facebook ads, so let me boost a post and let me do this and talk more about myself, and it's like, please stop.
Right. Yeah, what's interesting too is you're talking about like niching down. It's counterintuitive, but the power is when you start writing specifically about things, it identifies people.
Yes.
They say, this is for me.
Yeah.
Instead of, I don't know who this is for. This sounds kind of nice. I don't really know what I would get. But talking about Facebook ads, because I've done quite a bit of that stuff.
Yeah.
One of the most useful things you can do at the beginning, the headline of your ad is, hey, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Hey,
person.
Connecticut home buyers.
Yes.
Hey, whatever. That immediately identifies who this thing is for. The people that it's not for, they don't care. They keep moving. But if you're in that mindset, suddenly you have their attention.
Yeah.
But
and if you only need 24 people a year,
everyone.
2 people a month, all you're doing is you're sifting and sorting.
Right.
You're going out with a magnet looking for the needle in the haystack. Right?
Yeah.
So think about like the light in the room here or a laser. we know that the light is on and we, everything's illuminated. If the lights weren't on and there was a laser, our eyes would go like cats.
Right.
We'd follow that thing around and then start chasing it, right? Maybe not. Maybe I would, but that's okay. I don't know. But that's what people are afraid to do.
Right.
They try to turn on the lights to illuminate everything. And Marie Forleo says it fabulously: when you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one.
Yeah, it's true.
Is it Facebook ad smart to say, hey, anyone?
Right. Hey, everyone.
Hey, business owner.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Or to say, hey, IT business owner. Do you own an IT business?
Right.
I'm listening.
Right.
I'm interested.
Just
yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
There you go.
Tell me more about this thing. So what motivates you about teaching sales?
Just that they're really good people who are actually doing really good work in the world, like honest to God, legit good work. They're geeking out on that thing that they do, and they're bringing better quality to their clients, but they just can't get the words out to connect with the right marketplace and actually solve problems. I want to help those people. Like the ones who really care, the ones who really are like gonna go the extra mile with their clients, and the problem is they're not connecting with enough people, they're not charging, all these different things that are gonna put them out of business and back into the corporate world. And the other side of the coin is that my, personal background coming from a DV background, domestic violence, and just kind of living that experience, that I don't ever want anyone to not be able to speak up and use their voice powerfully and effectively. There's no room for that. So, yep.
What are some things people can implement today?
Stop being in sales mode. Okay. Stop being in sales mode. Don't go out looking. Good karma calls. A coach of mine once called them good karma calls. And when you don't know what to do and you don't have any clients to help, and we're at that 0 close rate or you could be at 100% close rate, like you're right.
No conversations, 100%.
There you go. That's it. It's whichever way you look at it. But when you're at that starting point or in between clients, that's another phrase I like to use. When you're in between clients, you just don't know where the other one is. I would say pick up the phone, call someone, low barrier. No weirdness about picking up the phone. Somebody who's in there, somebody who you recently networked with, somebody who you see at the networking events all the time and you're very, very friendly with them, but like you just never had a conversation. Just pick up the phone and say, how can I help you today? What are you working on? Let me rack my brain and see what resources, what do you need me to Google? Just give. Just show up in service energy. And you're only going to operate through the lens that you know. Like if I talk to someone and they're like, I want to lose weight, and I'm like, all right, well, let me see who I know. I'm not going to say, have you considered drinking more water? Like my water is still sitting here. Like I need to take that advice, right? Like I'm not going to try to solve a problem that is outside of my wheelhouse. But if they're like, yeah, I'm just really tired and sluggish, I need to lose weight, I'm like, awesome. Do you want me to make some phone calls for you? Like, how can I best support you there? Just give. Just give. It gets you talking to other people out of your own head, because, clarity comes through action, confusion comes through thought. So we can sit there and spin ourselves, or we can just get up and say, how can I help you? And that is going to lead to something. And guess what a normal human being is going to do on the other end of the phone? You're amazing. How can I help you? Just be like, you know what? This helped me enough. This helped me enough because I needed to be on the phone with somebody. I needed to get out of my own head. I needed to whatever. And, I'm in between clients right now. Who do you know that I could continue a conversation with? Or I'm trying on that thing that you do statement. Can I try it on you? And give me your honest feedback. We just need to have bold, imperfect conversations.
Yeah,
that's it. Stop trying to get it right. Done is better than perfect.
Yep. That's something that I think about a lot. Everyone's so focused on what everyone's going to think about them by doing whatever this thing is. They just don't ever start. One of the things that I think is interesting too, that I've been thinking about a lot recently, is solopreneurship. I saw a video the other day. This guy said, stop trying to do everything yourself.
Yes.
I was like, yes. Stop trying to do everything yourself. Human beings are not meant to do things by themselves. Unless you live in a cabin in the woods and you built yourself and you chop the trees down and you kill your own food. You are relying on someone at some point in your constantly throughout your whole day. Relying on someone else, someone else's help to accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish. So thinking that you're just going to all figure it out just on your own,
That's ego.
Right.
That's fear, scarcity, ego, sales mentality.
Right,
all of
right.
that kind of goes back to there's two energies,
Right.
right? There's lack and abundance.
Right.
And they can't coexist in the same space. So you're either in one or the other. And if you're thinking, I can't do it, I don't have the money yet and everything else, let's break down the math on that.
Right.
If you hire someone today, right? I'm hiring right now for a marketing assistant. This is the second position within my company.
Okay.
Aside from me, this is now the third. Oh my God. So big stuff. So I'm hiring someone for that. It's going to take a couple weeks to find the right person. Then they're going to get onboarded, and then it'll be 2 weeks before their first paycheck. So I decided to hire someone, and say it'll be 4 weeks before they get started, then 2 weeks that they're working. I have 6 weeks to come up with their first paycheck.
Right.
Right?
That's a lot of time.
Like, it just, I'm not the numbers girl for sure, but like when we just break it down and we're like, oh, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Right. And also the thing too is it doesn't feel right until you do it. Once you're doing it, then it feels right.
The second we wrote the job description and posted it yesterday, my executive assistant and I, like, she wrote it. That was a beautiful thing. I got her on board. She's still there and she's amazing. But we wrote it and we put it out there. And then once you put it out there, then it's like out there.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, let's post it here. Let's post it here. Let's send it out to the list. Let's get it out. I woke up this morning feeling so relieved.
Yeah.
They're not even there yet. No
Right.
work is done. Like, if anything, we've got more work now because all the work still has to get done. And we've got to interview and we've got to onboard and blah, 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 blah. But I literally woke up just feeling so relieved, like,
Right.
I don't have to do it all forever.
Right.
And what I tell the students in sales school for entrepreneurs is you have to do it until you don't have to do it anymore.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Right. You don't have to do it forever.
No.
That's the thing that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Is, you gotta try to get some sales and drum up some sales. I'm not saying that you won't do sales forever, but all the things that you...
Sales
that
have to be done forever.
We're right. Right.
But you don't have to be the one doing them
Right,
forever.
exactly,
You have to
exactly.
do them until you don't have to
Right.
do them anymore.
Right. A lot of the excuses I feel like that people make, like, I hate doing that. You're not going to be doing that for the rest of your life.
Right.
If you hate that, you can hire somebody else to do that portion of it. Don't try to think that you need to do everything yourself. Because then, again, like I said, it's real easy to just get in your own head and do nothing.
Yeah.
Just stay where you are. 'Cause like, I don't. It's not worth the hassle. If you think that you're going to have to run a marathon forever the rest of your life, I mean, an actual marathon, probably nobody would do it.
Right.
But you know that if I train for this thing, I'm going to run this marathon, and then I'm going to have a break, or I'm going to, you know what I mean? Then it's much easier to prepare yourself for that sprint that you have to do.
Yeah.
Instead of just thinking that it's a forever thing.
Right. And I think that, my entrepreneurial journey has been a colorful one for sure, like given, becoming a single mom and all of that and survival mode for so long. And I think that really, as I'm hearing you say this, I think that a lot of that has actually helped me with this positioning of impermanence. That nothing was permanent and everything was known temporary, just for a very long while. And my commitment issues and everything else, I think it actually contributes value to how I teach and preach about sales and business growth, etc. Is that nothing is forever.
Right.
Nothing
Right.
is forever. Marriage is not forever, right? Somebody's going to die, and both of you will die, and one will die before the other, right?
Right.
So somebody's going to be single at some point, right? And I have a girlfriend of mine who has been married going on 30 some odd years, and every year they don't renew their vows, but they have that, that CTJ, that come to Jesus meeting with each other, and they're allowed to opt out. And she said that there's been years where she's wanted to opt out. There's been other years where he wanted to opt out. And if they ever both come to the table and they both want to opt out, then they can,
Right.
but they have to re-engage every year. So
Right.
it's a lease.
Right.
It's a lease, right? Every year, every quarter, I sit down and I look at my job description and I'm like, do I still like doing this? Is this working for me? My life has shifted. My daughter's now a little bit older, and when they're little, like a couple months is a big deal, right? From reading ability, all these different things. So is what I'm doing in my business still supporting me as a single mother, as a CEO, as everything else? Do I need to change and shift things? My job description today is different than it will be 6 weeks from now when the marketing assistant is on.
Right.
Nothing is forever. So there's with that, there's a power in the impermanence. that every conversation, every sales conversation is a dress rehearsal.
Right.
Just an opportunity to practice some new words.
Right.
Say something different.
Yeah, don't get so caught up in this trying to, like I said before, trying to make everyone. Just, it's all right.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, some will, some won't, so what?
Exactly. And you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person.
Right.
All these things that we just need to, okay, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Right, just keep moving forward.
Yeah, and in sales school, we write permission slips, and I'm holding her hair back, and I'm like, it's okay, you can breathe through. Like, we're always like, woosah, breathe into it, it's all good. And we just had somebody who enrolled 3 weeks ago, and she just closed her very first client ever.
That's awesome.
She's got 100% close rate.
That's awesome.
I know.
Right, yeah,
I
starting out
know.
strong.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
good
great.
stuff.
So what are some resources that you recommend?
So I have a few free trainings,
Okay.
shiftyoursalesmindset.com,
Okay.
where I talk way more about the 5 holy shifts
Okay.
to really empower and get thinking about sales differently. So that's a huge one. And then from there, I invite people into the Conversation Creation Challenge, which is a free 5-day challenge. Because like we were talking about, people are just not talking to enough people. And we've collected all these people on social over the past 10 years, as long as social has been around, but we're not engaging with them other than, posting and spamming and, the occasional message when we need something.
Right.
So the Conversation Creation Challenge is really designed on the heels of shifting your sales mindset to understand that and give you the tools, the tech, and the talk to be able to engage with your existing audience as a human. Right? We are in information saturation, and people are missing, and the isolation is so huge that people are missing that human engagement. And I can already hear on the other end, people are like, nobody uses the phone anymore. Nobody picks up the phone. They do.
Yeah.
They do when you dial it.
Right.
And when they see it's you calling it,
Right.
you're like, oh my God, hi,
Right.
how are you? Like, it happens.
Right.
It happens.
Right.
And the messaging that I give I give the way to get in, and this is where a little bit of the techie, like how do you download the list? And we go through like legitimately 5 days, you're downloading your list, you're building the tech, you're creating the messaging sequence, you're doing all of this, and people are having conversations by the 5th day.
That's awesome.
Just conversations.
Right.
Just
Right.
conversations.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to
Not
close
sales.
the deal
Yeah.
today. Just start talking to people.
And there's a framework for the conversation, so it's not a bobblehead conversation. So that was really nice, thanks. Because that's what's happening. We're either going out thinking we have to have sales conversations, or these like endless coffee chats that go on for 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh my God, really? I'm never gonna get this Tuesday back. So it's a framework in between of how you can have a really healthy, productive conversation with 2 people who have already agreed to be in each other's space. Now you're on the phone together, and how do you make this mutually beneficial for each other?
Right.
So it's a framework to do that. It's not sales,
Right.
because that's weird. We don't do that.
Okay, well, the last question that I have here is how can people find you?
That's-
You already gave some of that.
That's it. It's
Okay.
shiftyoursalesmindset.com or conversationcreationchallenge.com. And one takeaway that I would leave people with is just pick up the phone today. Just pick up the phone and call someone, because you're afraid to pick up the phone. Everyone's afraid to
Right.
do that. Call someone you know.
Right.
It doesn't have to be your ideal client. It doesn't have to be the prospect that you need to circle back with. It doesn't need to be any of that. Just use that app
Right.
on the
Right.
phone,
Right.
dial a number,
Yeah.
and then say, hi.
Yeah.
And then what do you say after that? You'll figure it out.
Right. You don't have to know everything.
No.
Just start.
Yeah.